All right, Franco, so pretty straightforward stuff. Hopefully you got the analysis and you liked it so far. So what you were saying was that you were hitting the golf ball not so well and you're getting a lot of back pain in this lower lumbar spine. So this is kind of what we were discussing on the analysis. So as you're swinging up to the top of the swing, we're not gonna go over the pivot yet, but in transition, you're starting to get this right side lateral bend a little bit too early. And then from here, basically we're extending. We're not being able to rotate just because those spine facets right there aren't connected. Whenever you don't have that little natural curve in your lumbar spine, the mid spine, the thoracic's not going to be able to rotate. You feel that little bit of kind of almost grinding down of the cartilage right there when you do that, and that's where the back pain's coming in, okay? So instead, what we're going to have to do is, again, like I said, get that lumbar lordosis. So now let's jump back to the pivot and explain why this kind of applies to what I was talking about. So as you're swinging up to the top of the swing, I'm also seeing you starting to go a little bit this way with the head, right? So the head's moving in closer to the golf ball. You're starting to get a lot of pressure out towards the toes, which most people who do that, and then they put a torque on it in the opposite direction are gonna get a little bit of this motion, which is what you're doing, right? So instead, basically what you're doing is you're going into front bend with rotation and left bend to get your head closer to the golf ball. So what we're actually gonna do instead is we're gonna get front bend, rotation, and then a little bit of this thoracic extension, which is gonna make sure that the head is moving in closer to the golf ball. Now, once you get that down, then we could start talking a little bit about the downswing. I've shown you this before in our other how-to videos. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get this pretty quickly. But again, we gotta get this little motion going on with the lumbar spine. So we gotta get that lordosis, or you can call it lumbar shearing, or basically this motion right here. Then once we get from this position, we're gonna start seeing that the pelvis is extending, kicking forward as we get into right side lateral bend, right? So again, we don't wanna add on the right side lateral bend to where it gets us behind, because then we're gonna start getting into those back issues and we're gonna be blocked out. We wanna make sure that we're getting around first and then adding on that right side lateral bend. That's gonna basically neutral out your path, get you matched up and good to go. So now we'll talk a little bit about the implementation process. All right, Franco, so for the first part of the implementation process, let's go over the pivot real quick. So we're gonna go walk up to a wall or whatever you wanna do. I want you to set up a tripod behind you somewhere. So here, let me kind of give you an example. We'll grab this thing. Set up your tripod like you have. It's where you can film yourself. Then I want you to make some swings without the golf club first. We're gonna go up to this wall and we're just gonna make some swings where we swing up to the top of our swing and we don't feel like we have a lot of pressure on our forehead on this thing right here, right? So that's gonna basically get rid of that little motion right there. Now, once you do 10 swings in a row and you're filming them and 9 out of 10 swings look good, you should get 10 out of 10 to be honest, but if they all look good, then we're gonna hop back over to the mat and get to the next part of that pivot implementation process. Now from here, I want you to do stop and go swings first, and we're gonna do 10 of them, right? So it's gonna look like this. We're gonna swing up to the top. We're still feeling like we're not moving in closer to the golf ball. Stop, go ahead and swing. Now the only thing I'm worried about is when you're swinging backwards, that head's not moving in forward, right? So we're not really worried about anything else at this point. We're just focusing in on that key point right there. Once you do that 8 out of 10 times, then we're gonna make it a 50% motion, okay? So it's gonna look like this. So once you do it at 50% speed, you get 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 correctly. Then you're gonna ramp it up to 75% speed, repeat the same process, film 10 swings. Then you can ramp it up to 100% and then film those 10 swings. Once you get that down, I guarantee you, your pivot will most likely be good to go. You're probably gonna get closer to that conscious competence. You probably won't still be at that unconscious competence, but you'll be pretty close. Now let's talk about the downswing and how to implement that. All right, Franco, so the downswing initiating part where we're gonna be talking about the lumbar lordosis and all that good stuff, we're gonna break it up into a stop and go drill, right? So we're gonna swing up to the top of their swing. I'm gonna want you to feel like you're getting that lumbar lordosis, right, with a little bit of rotation. Stop right around when the hands are just below the hips. And then once we get to this position, we're gonna go ahead and hit a shot, okay? So what you're gonna do is 10 swings like that. You're gonna film all of them. I want basically 8 out of 10 swings correctly. You know what to look for in the video analysis. I already detailed that for you on that part. Now, once we get that, then we're gonna work it at like right around 50% speed. So it's gonna look a little bit like this. Okay, so once you do that at 50% speed, you film 10 swings, 9 out of 10 look correct. Then you're gonna ramp it up to the 75%, then you're gonna ramp it up to the 100%. All right, Franco, so this is basically the implementation process. Hopefully this helps. Once you get through that, I'll also send you over some tests and we'll kind of do a video on that as well. And again, man, please do this because I know your back's hurting right now because that one instructor was teaching you basically a little bit different swing to where you're getting a little stalled out, then those spine facets like we talked about earlier was going to hurt yourself. So anyways, man, best of luck out there, play some good golf, and then get back to me with an email.